Hi there, and welcome to Stamping in the Barnyard. My name is Bethany Barnard, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up. And when they released their mini catalog for September to December, I was immediately drawn to the Surfing Santa stamp set. Because I live in Florida where the weather's a little bit warmer, I thought it would be fun to represent a Christmas card with Santa having fun in the sun. So I love pairing this with the Under the Moon and the dolphins playing, and I think you could do it with some of the others, but I particularly use these dolphins for the card that I came up with. So let me share that with you now. So this is the card. It's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it folds flat. You can see that, but when you open it, you get this 3D card with Santa on his surfboard, the sun shining, and the presents in the waves, and the dolphin having fun as well. But I love this little pocket for a gift card. Now it can be any gift card, obviously, for Christmas, but I thought our family's favorite restaurant here is actually a seafood restaurant, and we all love it. And so I thought this is a perfect way to give this gift card. It's almost our gift every year to my married children, and my mother's gift to us because we love this restaurant so much. And I thought, how perfect for a seafood restaurant gift card to have Santa on his surfboard. So I enjoyed this, and I posted this card online, and I did have a few requests for a tutorial or how this is made. And I find it easiest to just teach by showing rather than trying to come up with the words to explain what I do along the way. So I hope that helps you, and I will put this aside so I don't lose it, and we'll get started on the card. Now you will need an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Now I did some of this prep work in advance with the hope of making the video shorter. So you would start with an 8 1/2 piece of cardstock. You would cut off 2 1/2 inches, leaving you an 8 1/2 inch square for the base of that card. Now you do want to keep this piece, but we'll get to that. So you do use all of this sheet. So once you have this 8 1/2 by 8 1/2, you are going to score this. And you can score this on your trimmer, but I absolutely love my Simply Score tool, and you'll see with some of the scores that we make how I find this much easier, but it can be done on our trimmer with a scoring blade. So halfway across 8 1/2 is 4 1/4, so you are going to score down 4 1/4, turn it 90 degrees, and 4 1/4 again. So you basically have 4 equal squares of 4 1/4. Now, 2 of the adjacent squares, and again, I've already scored this, you may see that, but I'm going to show you how you score them on a scoreboard. I got a great tip when I got my Simply Scoreboard to take a permanent marker and just go right down the 6-inch mark all the way down. And that's helpful often when you're looking for the center of a piece of paper. But in this case, we are actually going to score diagonals, and it's super helpful for that as well. So we're going to take one point of this, we're going to stick it in the 6-inch, and then we're looking for that permanent marker, which is here, and we want the point to come right in there. That way we know that this is going to cut this in half. I hope that makes sense. So you're going to start right at the center point of where these score marks intersect, and then you're just going to score it right down to the end here. And then you're going to repeat that, turning the opposite way. And again, you're going to make sure that the point comes into your 6-inch line, which I recommend that you color with a permanent marker. And you've got this point also in the 6-inch line. And you start from the center, and then you score, and you pull that all the way out. Okay, and so that's really very simple too. I'm going to quickly try and demonstrate how you would do that on a trimmer. but I'm going to show it to you much quicker. But it's going to be hard. You're going to do the same thing where you're going to put this point into your score line here and your gully here. That way you know that it's a straight line. You're going to bring your scoring blade to the center. This is where it's a little bit harder to see where you are at the center. And you'll start at the center and you'll pull it all the way down, and then you'll turn it this way and repeat that. It's a little bit harder to see, but it can be done. Okay, so moving on, and this is the no turning back point of the card. You're gonna take your scissors and you're gonna cut right up the center score line to your first horizontal line here. So right here, you're just gonna cut right up to the center here. I don't know, I thought those scissors would cut better, but I think I like my trusty ones here a little bit better that I cut with more often. Well, I'm going to worry about that later. Okay, then you're going to take on the left hand side here, and I do have a, there we go. On the left hand side here, you're going to take this triangle and you're really going to just cut this off completely, but only on the left hand side. So you're going to cut right up that diagonal that we just did with our scoreboard. There we go. And we have that off. And this is where I think I'm going to just trim this a little bit. I'm not liking how, and you could do this on your, maybe I'll do that. You could just do this on your trimmer. You know how it is whenever you do any freehand cutting, it's never quite as straight as you want it to be, but it's really not going to matter on this card. That's fine. So this is what you should be left with. And then you can fold this upward and score, and fold this upward, not score, what do I mean? You want to use your bone folder on it so that it folds really nice and neat. And then for this one, you're going to want it to fold back like that, okay? Now you can go ahead and keep it flat like this, but that's how all your scoring goes. I'm going to fold this over too, but you can do that all again when we go to put the pieces together. Now what we have is I used the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper because I felt, so you can see this, maybe you'll recognize it. It is Designer Series paper that's an online exclusive. It's been around for at least a year. And I thought that this looked a lot like water spray coming up, so I thought it would work well for Santa on his surfboard. But there's a lot of our DSP that on the back will have different blues, etc., that will work for water. But as I said, I did use the Winter Meadow for these, and these are just 4 by 4 inch pieces. I will have all of these measurements in the description. I may not get to it right away. I may upload the video before I get to that, but I will have that up there. But I'll try to remember to say them as we go along. They are going to go in these top pieces here, but we want to stamp on them first. So we're going to take our Pretty Peacock, because that's the color that's in this DSP, and it goes well with the pool party, and you'll see some other things along the way about why I chose the pool party. So I'm going to take the wave stamp from the Surfing Santa stamp set, and I am going to start by just visually stamping a wave right into the center of both pieces here. And you will see that I'll show you on the card what I'm doing here, because I actually managed to do 3 waves across. And in order to do that, I stamped on a Post-it note. Let's hope I can get it up now, right? I got one of those Post-it notes that stay sticky, like the whole thing does. But then you just put that over the wave that you already stamped. And then you can do one to the side and one to the other side. And that way you get 3 stamps waves across the bottom. And we're going to do that here. And you don't have to. I think I have somewhere here, I don't know if I'll find them quickly, but somewhere I have stamped just 2 waves. They fit perfectly across, and that works too if you want to work a little quicker and you don't care if you have 2 or 3 waves across the bottom. But I just like the idea of these rolling waves. Okay. So you peel that off and there's no overlapping going on. And I will save this by putting it inside my stamp set so that if I want to do that again, I still can reuse that Post-it note over and over again to make a card. Oops, I closed this. Well, that's okay, because now I want to stamp my dolphin here. And I'm going to use the navy blue because I want them to really show up, and I want them a little bit darker than the color of the waves, which is the peacock. Now I have already put on here, I don't know how well you can see that, but these are actually 2 stamps. There's one stamp with 2 dolphin and a stamp with the 1, and I kind of have already made them like they're jumping. And so I just want to have them like how, let's see if I can do this and stamp this again and have them come up darker and be able to see whether or not I've lined them up. This is a very dangerous attempt here. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But I probably need to re-ink my Night of Navy. So you do that beforehand when you make this card. But I really wanted them to stand out. So at this point, I can go ahead and adhere them to the inside of the top of my card. So my preferred adhesive is the liquid glue. It comes out quick. What do I mean by lasts? You got a little bit of time to move the paper, but once it sticks, it sticks. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The humidity here in Florida can really pull up so many of the adhesive options for us. So we've learned to love the liquid glue. So there we go. And then our dolphin. This works out well because I have 3 grown children who live in the area who will love to get those gift cards to the seafood restaurant. So I'm getting these done in advance for Christmas, so that's great. But you can see how this paper really does kind of show water splashing and spraying around, which I love. Now another thing that we're going to do is what I did was on Lemon Lolly Yellow. Well, I guess it's called Lemon Lolly, not yellow. Here we go. What I like to do when I'm trying to make a sun is I take both the pumpkin pie and in this case, the crushed curry. And the fact that it's on the lemon lolly, I think will just really make it more vibrant. But I first put it in the crushed curry, and then with a dauber, which I should have right here because I picked it up off the floor not too long. Here it is. No, that's not it. Where's my dauber? I promise I just picked it up off the floor before we started. Uh-oh, I'm not going to be able to do that if I can't. Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay, so with the pumpkin pie, having stamped in the crushed curry, I take my dauber and I just go around the edges of the sun, and that sort of gives it 3 different tones: the pumpkin pie, the curry, as well as the lemon lolly that's in the background. So you can see how that makes that sun come. Now, rather than have you waiting until I get that sun cut out, I can show you. Here's one that I cut out earlier. I did then, after I cut it out, take the dauber and add some more of the pumpkin pie by just going around it. And there we have our sun. Now, it would work perfectly fine to put the sun here and to put it on some dimensionals. But I found these at a local store. I don't know what they're called. You watching the video probably know, because I'm not as up on these things. But it's like a little spring. I know you can even get them from Amazon. And they already have adhesive on both sides. And I just wish I knew the name of them for you, but I don't. I just saw them in the store and I got them. And so basically you can take off, and this is where my take your pick tool could come in handy. And it is right in front of me, but look what I did. I got it off by myself. All right, so then put this on the center back. And then you have 2 more pieces here, which I am about to get, except I don't know if I have, I have the wrong piece on my take your pick tool. Has the scoring tool on one end and the putty on the other end, and I'm not near my desk, so I have to use that. But otherwise, I would highly recommend using the poker side of your take your pick tool for this. But the end of my snips works as well, I think, if I can get this up. See, once I've pasted and cut up my paper, I just got to keep going with this video. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to put that up in the right-hand corner. And the reason why I like this is because, you know, it just kind of, you can do some, and I don't know, some of you will know the name of this. Maybe you'll put it in the comments for me. All right, so then we have to, remember this piece I told you that you would have left over? Well, I took a piece earlier, and again, so that you didn't have to wait, and I stamped the wave 4 times. I've cut it out 3 of those times, and then I left one to be able to show you how I cut that out, because it's really, the one thing about the Surfin' Santa is it does not come with dies. But I just leave a little bit of a pool party edge here. You can see that, I hope, a tiny bit, and I just go around the ink kind of like a die would, really. And then I come around here and I go in a little bit here, and then I come and I finish off like that. Remember to move the paper, not the scissors. That's another kindergarten tip on how to use scissors. And then I come up around the bottom here And I do try to make a little bit of a curve around the waves to give that kind of a look. All right, so now we have 3 waves. Look at the one that's your least favorite and the one that's your least favorite. I've also taken my Santa and I've already colored him because you don't need to. I'm not very good at editing. I'm not very good at videotaping, as you can see. So I did a lot of this in advance, but I am going to go ahead and glue this wave onto Santa and his surfboard. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here, like this. Trying to still show his feet because they're so cute, right? And so then we have that wave, and then we can put in this one like that. I don't think I want it quite as high up, so maybe like this. You do want Santa to come up a fair bit inside, because you don't want them too high because you're going to fold this and it's going to go up. But you also, the higher it is in the center of the picture, the more able you are to see them. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this wave because I'm going to tuck this one in here. I still want his feet showing. I don't know anything about surfing. Some of you watching this video may be able to tell that I don't know anything about surfing. But then I'm going to take this one up. You know, I did 4 because I thought I counted 4. I did do 4 on this one, but I don't think you need 4. I think we can do it with just 3. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. I think I did it just to get him lifted up a little bit. So I think we're gonna want it to go all the way to the end here. And then we'll just do this here. I think that's what I want to do. You just want to build him up so he goes up high enough off of the page. So I'm going to just put a bit of glue at the top of this because it's still going to go onto the waves that are already on our Santa here. Now I'm going to make it come just about like this, maybe a little bit over, and then this here, and I may trim off some of this one here. There we go. Well, you want to have enough glue on these. There we go. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it just wasn't dry enough yet. The other thing that you're going to want is for this to be fairly straight at the bottom. It does not have to be perfectly straight, but I guess I have more of my surfboard showing in that original. What if I tuck this down in here? See how I'm playing with this to make this work? That's good. I'm kind of liking that. So just play around with them to where you're happy with the end result. I'm going to just cut off a little bit of this here. I don't know if I needed to or not. I have a feeling, yeah, that this is gonna, there we go. Because as I said, when it comes out here, you want to have somewhat of a straight, flat edge here. But it doesn't have to be perfectly flat, but I made it a little bit flatter by doing that. I hope I haven't confused you by doing that, but he's looking good, even though he's gonna come out from here. Before I put him on. I've got, now these presents, I colored my other presents like yellow and orange, you can see here, just to give you some more ideas. I kept sort of the color of the surfboard and the sun, but I kind of did these more traditional of the red and green presents. So I am going to just try to make them fit into the waves behind some of these waves that we've put in. I guess I got that idea from something they did on the Stampin' Up site. Just have to find a place where you can tuck in on the waves, like they're floating with you on the waves. I'm not sure I'm liking that. Where do I want to put them? Maybe I can put them. Okay, so we don't want this to be what takes up all the time here now, is it? So let's put these here. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down because I'm pretty sure about what I'm doing there. So the presents are another stamp that are found inside. I stamped Santa, Father Christmas, the presents, whatever you want to call them, in Memento, and then I did color them with our watercolor pencils, and I used Wink Stella to blend the color on the watercolor pencils. He's going to go here. I do want some of these presents in here. I think I'm going to just tuck those right in there, like that. You can just lay them on top. The whole idea is that the presents are still around him. And I think, I mean, I've got a few more presents here. I think I'm going to stick a couple on the waves behind him too. So let's do that. I'll do that there. And then I got two very little ones. Put this one here. And then finally this little one. I think I'll put it in here. Just have fun with it where you decide to put your presents. You don't have to put the presents at all if you don't feel inclined. But I did kind of like that image I saw in, because maybe he's gifting the dolphins as well, right? How cute is that? All right, so just keep him aside. You've built him up with the waves and the presents, and you've put him on the surfboard. And now what you need, and so you remember those were stamped on the pool party with the pretty peacock, which by putting that together, it helps to pull in the color of the base as well, and it makes the pretty peacock stand out a bit more. So another thing that we need to do is we need to put our water at the bottom here. And so what you want to do with your trimmer is you have another 4x4. So this means it takes 1/3 of a sheet of DSP, because you're going to cut 3 panels of 4x4. And then you just want to put your points both in the gully where your trimmer cuts, close it, and then you get your 2 halves of your 4 by 4 square. And then you're going to adhere 1 on this side and 1 on this side. So we'll get that done. All right. And so you're just going to do that in the top right and the top left. And this is going to be the ocean floor, not the floor of the ocean, but the floor of your card, the top of the ocean, I guess. All right, now I also had you, I'm going to need my glue eraser here, not that it matters as much on this paper, but it keeps it from being sticky. Okay, so that's what we've got now, right? Hope everybody's with me here. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, and again, after you've stamped your 4 waves on here, you should have 3/4 of an inch that you can cut from here. And then you're gonna have 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches, and I should have one here. If I don't, I'm gonna have to cut it right in front of you. You know what, I bet it's in here. Because I did already cut this. Okay, so here we go. This is 3 inches and it's scored at 3 1/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and that takes care of your 3 inches, right? And then you are going to basically fold it into a square initially, just so that you know it's folding in all the right directions. And then you are going to, we're going to have him come out from here. And we don't really want the waves to go past the score line here. So you're going to probably have him right at the edge. And so what you're going to do, again, with your glue, so you fold this in half. Now remember, you've already kind of made sure it all will fold into a square. But on one end, where you have a square, you're going to put this down about a little less than halfway from the edge. It's not that specific because you've got this whole bit that can hang on to it. I hope that makes sense. And then you will fold it up, make sure it's there. Okay, and then once you've done that, and you're putting that down on that first square, just below that score mark here. And then you're going to do the same thing and put a little bit of glue here on this square on the top. And this is where we are going to fold this down. And again, we're gonna just kind of rub it around. Takes a few seconds for this to adhere, but then when we do that, it should make a standing square. Square, is that what you call it? Yep, and that worked, see? Because we're going to use this now, we're going to put glue on it, and it's going to hold our Santa like this. All right. Now this is where if I make him come all the way to the edge, this is awfully close to that score mark, but I think it's going to be okay. So I'm going to put, finally, there's only one square that never gets glue on it, and it will now be this, what's at the top here. So I'm going to take Santa. I want to make sure he goes all the way to the edge here of our card. And so you can see there's enough behind, because we built it up with the waves, that square is going on all of that, and that makes that stronger as well. And so you can see how, right, how this is now starting to stand up. Okay, so finally, no, not finally, we still have the front to decorate. Caution on this, we're gonna adhere this triangle to this, but if you want to get a gift card to go in here, you cannot glue on this long side of the triangle. You're only putting glue here and here. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. That's a mistake I've seen people make, so I'm trying to warn you in advance. So we've got the glue there. We're gonna pull this around. And that's nice. And see, he should now fold right up and close. And there you go. There you have it. Isn't he cute? He's so cute. Right? And then you'll see if I get my Jonah's gift card out again, you'll see it fits right in there. Or any other gift card that you might like to put in there. And I still like to add the saying about sunny and bright. What is it? It's, may your days be sunny and bright. Isn't that from a Christmas song? Pretty sure it is. And again, I'm going to take out the peacock so that it shows up well. And I'm pulling in that lemon lolly color again by may your days be sunny and bright. I think I've used a lot of this ink lately. All right, so I've just cut a strip that's 3/4 inches in length, and then I'm gonna trim it after I stamp on it. So 3/4 of an inch is enough to stamp this saying, may your days be sunny and bright. Now, I did put this shell on here. I may put it on the surfboard. I've liked that before, but I don't know, I do think I'm gonna just glue it right on here. I like that. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna cut it down. So, because I don't know, it just seems like a nice little end piece to this. And then I'm gonna try and cut this straight. You know, if you want to know how to cut something straight, you cut it further away than you wanted it to. And then if you used your cutter before to cut something, then you can just line it up and then cut it. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. And then I'm just going to put it right here. And you see how it goes overboard here? It goes past that. It won't really matter because it will still fold up like this and then come down. But I think it could get bent over time. So I am going to take my straight cuts and trim off just a little bit on either end. Now what I should do for you guys, which you might like, is measure what my end result is so that you know just how much to cut it to begin with. I'll do that for you. How's that? Okay. So see, that's gonna fit nicer, just right there. And it is, oh, of course it's not gonna be exact, is it? It's about 2 5/8 by 3/4 of an inch. And I know these are US measurements, but that's what I got for you here. And then I'm going to put this on. And then if you, I'm just going to tell you how and why I decorated the front the way I did. And you can decorate the front of your card however you like. Okay, so there is our finished card with a little pocket for a gift card. Perfect for people who live in that warmer climate, especially where there are also water sports and surfing available. Now, what I did was I used some of this paper from, I should know, I'll write that in the description. But the reason I chose this paper is, first of all, because I thought it was pretty generic DSP for Christmas with the holly berries and the holly. But there is actually pool party running through this, so it works well on the base of the pool party. So that's why I chose that. As I said, I'll put in the descriptions the DSP that I used for this card, but you can decorate the front however. I'm just trying to make it look pretty. The excitement for me is on the inside of the card, so this is really just to present it initially before they open it. Theoretically, they would stand it up if they display it in a 3D way. So the next thing I did was using the Everyday Details. I cut out this, die cut this circle in the garden green, which is the same color as the holly in there. And then I took some of our silver cord, and yes, I did. I stitched it all the way around these holes. So here's one I did earlier. So you can see I just went in and out all the way around. And then I am going to tie a bow with it and trim it. And if you're anything like me, when you do a bow, you kind of fight with it for a little while. In fact, sometimes it works better for me if I do my bow, believe it or not, upside down. So let's try that again. You can kind of control the, with some pulling and tugging, you can kind of control the bow a little bit and get it to do what you want it to do. So now I'm going to pull these down, and I'm going to pull these down. Well, now you know why we do some of these things in advance. I don't think I had this much trouble the first time. All right, so here I'm going to try something else. How about if we do that starter and tie it? There we go. Oh, I gotta remember that I want the bow at the top. That makes a difference too. I'm sorry to take this long tying the bow, especially because at the end of the day, you're gonna do this yourself anyway. My nails don't make this any easier. There we go. There we go. Feeling a little bit more successful. I'm gonna make the bow a little bit smaller, pull it a little tighter. There we go. The thing with the circle is, if you like where the bow is, you can just move it to the top yourself. So I'm gonna cut these, right? Because the top is wherever you put the circle, at the top. All right, and then I did choose, so I wanted to show you this. These are the 4 dies that come with Christmas labels dies, And it does really present, however you stamp it, very nicely. And all of these sayings are meant to go on one of these dies and just give a real, nice presentation. I love a lot of these. I love Be Merry, Believe. I've got something in mind for that. Peace on Earth. It's a hot cocoa day. But I chose for this card, Celebrate the Holidays in All the Ways. I thought that was perfect because for Santa, after he's done his trip around the world, he's celebrating the holidays on the waves. And I just thought that was like the perfect thing to put on the front. So these berries here are in Poppy Parade. So I'm choosing the Poppy Parade and here we are, Holidays, and you'll see how the words will fit exactly where they need to go on this little die cut. It's just really nice. And if it doesn't, I have another one here so that I just want to make sure it's inking up well. Sometimes they ink up better their second time. All right, so Holidays in All the Ways. Here we go. Like that. And I basically, because of the thickness of the card itself, because of all that's going on the inside, I don't put dimensionals on this, but you could. I just choose not to because of the thickness that the card already is. And I'm going to put this in the center here, right under the bow. Kind of looks a little like it's meant to look a bit like a tree ornament or something. And then I just got my Neutrals adhesive back sequins. I like to put these little white ones on for this particular card. So I am going to take one of my bigger ones. I don't know what that was that just flew over. It wasn't this yet because I hadn't gotten it out yet. There, and then I always like to put a little one next to my bigger one. Oh, that one stuck to my finger. There we go. Down here, and then I'll put another one up here, and we'll go ahead and go for a bigger one up here. And then you get a little bit of bling. You've got the shine of the silver cording, and make sure you're not doing it on the upside down part, but I'm going to adhere that on top, and then we will be finished. And I will thank you so much for visiting my little channel here, and I just want to say thank you sincerely. And if you're interested at all in ever having a kit sent to you for some of my cards or some of my classes, I'd love to have you just send me your email so that I could get in touch with you and see about doing some more of that, because I'd really like to reach some more people further out. If you're interested in any of my cards, I hope you'll check out some of my other videos that I've put up. I don't put up often, but I hope to do more all the time. So there you have it. I should have put that card back in here for that final display of that card. Thank you, everybody.